civil cases, what kind of evidence to be. Yeah. Now this lecture will deal the preponderance of possibility evidence. Yeah? Preponderance of possibility. तो इसके लिए भी आप you will have to bear in mind the doctrines we have learned under proved, disproved, not proved. Huh? Please remember that. This is a very, very vital section for proving this. Now, yes. First, I will take you to a very, very interesting judgment, how to understand this. At least there are three judgments here. At least we'll try and cover two judgments. And I think I'll cover all the judgment, not all the. Yeah. Yeah. Please open Ashish to understand the judgment. AIR 1975 Supreme Court, page number 1534. Narayan Garesh Dastane versus Suchitra and Dastane. The Dastane couple, very unfortunate matter, which reached Supreme Court, matrimonial offences.
Open, sir.
Sir, is this
Yes.
a case on cruelty?
Yes, on a cruelty. Cruelty you have seen under 498A IPC is a different cruelty, prosecution, filing a case where you require to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. But in cases of a divorce sought by the husband or wife in any matrimonial jurisdiction, maybe under the Hindu Marriage Act, Parsi Matrimonial Act, Mohammedan law, or Special Marriage Act, Indian Divorce Act, what is the yardstick? What kind of evidence you require? Isn't it? What kind of evidence? Whether the cruelty has to be proved in the same manner as cruelty under 498A Indian Penal Code or not? The answer is no. That is, what is the standard of proof? Is the proof. Now, it's a very
it is only the standard of proof, or it was also the level of cruelty.
It's a more or less it is how the level of cruelty to be proved. What is the manner in which it is proved? Whether the court has to apply the theory of prove it beyond reasonable doubt, or a preponderance of possibility, drawing inferences.
But the threshold of cruelty remains the same.
Yes, that remains the same. Here you cannot be convicted, put in jail, and at the most the court will grant judicial separation or a divorce. What is the yardstick the court? I will just briefly take you through when you open the little brief fact, you have to see that here. This is a judgment beautifully authored by Justice Y.V. Chandrachud, who was our Chief Justice for 9 years, India's longest Chief Justice during Indira Gandhi's regime. His son is Dr. Dhananjay Chandrachud, one of the leading judges in the Supreme Court, who has rendered the Puttaswamy judgment. In fact, Justice Dr. Chandrachud has been pleased to set aside and overrule his own father's judgment in ADM Jabalpur's case. All of you know that?
Yes, sir. And
all of you know that?
He's getting ready to be the Supreme Court judge.
Yes, yeah. It's you require guts to do this, because the ADM Jabalpur has held the field from the year 1973 till last year. And in Puttaswamy's case, he said no judge of the Supreme Court, of course, they disagreed with the ratio laid down in ADM Jabalpur. Of course, it was disagreed by Justice Khanna, but it was not set aside. But in Puttaswamy's judgment last year, 2 years ago, Justice Chandrachud wrote a very beautiful judgment, and you all should read that. That's a part. So the Justice Y.V. Chandrachud has written a very illuminating judgment and very classic judgment on the point as to what is the standard of proof in civil cases in such matter. So, in order to appreciate the controversy, how to understand the evidence, I will just briefly take you through some of the what are the matters in issue before the court, how it went to here. So when you open paragraph number 1, 2, 3, I will just take you through briefly. It speaks of it's a Pune couple. The matrimonial suit was filed by Suchitra, the wife, against the husband, against Narayan Dastane. Both were highly educated couple. He was a doctor and she's a girl hailing from Nagpur, and he is from Pune. Dr. Narayan Ganesh Dastane, he is a MSc Agriculture from Pune University. Very bright man, and he was working in agriculture department. That is, he's a postgraduate. And she is Suchitra also. He's come from Nagpur, and she is a daughter of a under secretary in the government of India. This is the year 1954. Her qualification also, she was BSc from Delhi University. Unfortunately, first of all, in the year 1956, the proposed marriage took place. That paragraph number 5 and 6 में देखेंगे आप. Proposed marriage हुआ. Marriage से पहले, one Dr. Deshmukh had told the husband that the girl whom you are marrying, she was earlier admitted in mental hospital, but she has now recovered. वो सब चीजें बताया गया पैराग्राफ नंबर 6 के अंदर. Then after he approved everything, वो अप्रूव होने के बाद the marriage हो चुकी है लोग की in the year 1956 के अंदर. देखिए पैराग्राफ नंबर 6 में 13 May 56 में the marriage was solemnized. They lived together in Arbhavi and the district of Belgaum together. 19 January 1966 में इनके रिलेशन खराब होने लगे. Of course, they had 3 children. 3 daughters were born out of the wedlock. Then when they went to Pune one fine day, he said, I would like to visit Yaroda, the hospital, mental hospital where we were admitted. Just maybe wanting to know, recapitulate the moment. But she had a suspicion that you were trying to collect evidence against me. So वहाँ से sorts of suspicion began, resulting in relation getting strained. Then what happened? There were lots of correspondence between them two. Both the husband and wife, of course, both of them hailing from a very respectable families and highly educated families. When इनके relation खराब हो चुके, then paragraph number 15 check करो आप. Paragraph number 14 से, the wife, the husband filed a petition. He approached the court for a decree of nullity under section 12(1)(c) of the Hama Act, Hindu Marriage Act. Nullity of the marriage you seek when a person is insane, mentally a fraud has been played upon him at the time of the marriage. Then he also sought on the ground that consent of the marriage was obtained by fraud. That was his condition. That was his contention. Then in the alternative, he sought a divorce under section 13(1) Roman subclause 3 on the ground that respondent was incurably of unsound mind for a continuous period of not less than 3 years immediately preceding marriage, which is one of the ground. Then in the alternative, he sought a judicial separation under section 10(1)(b) on the ground that she was treating him with cruelty. These are the 3 grounds. And the marriage petition, in those days there was no family court. The marriage petition was filed before the civil judge junior division. Okay? Junior division. The junior division rejected the 2 points, the earlier on the ground that she was suffering from insanity and fraud. And he has allowed the petition on the ground that he was treated with cruelty. So judicial separation was allowed. That is the trial court passing a decree on judicial separation, paragraph number 15. Then the matter reached, when this is a family court, there was no family court that time. And under the provisions of the Hama Act, an appeal will go to the district judges. Under section 96, पढ़े आपने CPC के अंदर, appeal goes to the district court. Here, appeal के अंदर, she filed the appeal against the judicial separation, and he filed the appeal against not granting relief of divorce on the ground of insanity. 2 appeal file करे थे, and the district judge, the district judge allowed the appeal of the wife and dismissed the appeal of the husband. Paragraph number 16 के अंदर है. वहां पे thereafter the husband filed a second appeal in the Bombay High Court. No, second appeal is filed under section 100 CPC, you know that, on a substantial question of law. So only the husband filed the petition.
Excuse me, somebody please expand the text on the screen, please. Hello?
Pramila, if you pin the window, you'll be able to see it bigger.
Now
There's
you
an
can
option in clicking pin to screen. Yes,
What-
sir,
what-
we can see.
Now you can see me well.
Yes, sir.
What was wrong?
So I think you went
Even
offline.
though I'm not able to see
Now
this, it's very small. Pin to the windows.
What I should say, yeah. Now you all can see me clearly now, Ashish.
Sir, yes, sir, we can see you, sir. Just one of the students wants the font to be a little bigger of the presentation.
font.
Ashish,
How to make
Just
it?
expand it to the full screen, no?
How to make it now? Can you give me the idea?
is there the participant window open
Is
on
the
your
part
screen?
others and all? Something.
Okay, sir. Now I can hear you. It
And
looks
now-
like I was thrown out of the meeting for something.
You were thrown out by whom?
Oh,
Yeah.
acha, Ashish was out. Okay, I
Ashish was
thought
thrown out.
was out.
Yeah, you can say the all others, turn, caption, in charge, meeting, share option, setting में क्या जाने का इधर? Now you all can see me properly. I have to do anything else.
No, sir,
I-
you're
No, sir,
visible.
So it's
And-
you are visible, you are audible. There is no problem with your window.
Okay. Only Ashish का problem.
हाँ सर
हाँ.
पर
Now
सर
what
अभी
is
आपका वीडियो बंद है सर अभी आपका वीडियो बंद है
मेरा
So
वीडियो
his
बंद है.
video is on.
No,
My
no,
video-
video's on, sir. Video's on.
My video is on. You all
Are
can
you
see.
able to-
Yeah, please
I'm not-
correct it. Now
I'm
kindly.
not able to see सर का फोटो ही है
खाली फोटो है मेरा.
So
आवाज
then there must have been some glitch. Log back out and log back in. I had the same problem.
एक
So-
मिनट मैं देखता हूँ कुछ है क्या प्रॉब्लम.
नहीं
you
सर
telling
आपके वहाँ
me?
एकदम ठीक है.
मैं मेरा
Yeah,
सीख-
Aparna, I'm telling you.
You are visible,
आप देखिए
sir.
यू आर द मॉडरेटर ना आशीष आप देखिए. And
Yeah.
also make co-host one of the student who is familiar with the computers.
Yes.
Any one of you?
So, but there is no co-host facility available in Google Meet, sir. That's only in Zoom.
अभी next week से we are going in Zoom. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Zoom में चले जाएंगे. Zoom में सब कुछ ऑप्शन मिल जाएंगे आपको. Now,
Okay, sir.
now what is the last topic I mentioned here now in this statement? What is the last statement? Any one of you can tell me what I discussed now so far?
Sir, you said the husband
The husband has filed his-
on substantial
Bombay High Court
question
Yeah.
of
The
Yeah.
wife has filed his
सेकेंड अपील को आगे हम लोग हाई कोर्ट में
court, sir.
सेकेंड
हाँ,
अपील
sir.
का यस
हाँ, sir.
so the district judge in the appeal under section 96 he dismissed the appeal of the husband and allowed the appeal of the wife. Okay, that means the wife has succeeded, as a result whereof the husband's petition has been thrown out. Okay, now you all can hear me. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
I can hear you.
then the husband files a second appeal under section 100 CPC before the Honorable High Court Bombay. So you all know that second appeal is only filed on a substantial question of law and not involving facts. Okay. So in the second appeal, it appears the Honorable High Court, while rejecting when paragraph number 19 में discussion हुआ है, sitting in the second appeal, it was not open for the High Court to appreciate evidence. It appears the High Court, Bombay, has appreciated the evidence in the case. Then the Supreme Court says that, yeah, it should not have appreciated. Then section 100 of the CPC, yes, they are discussed. Then in the middle, but the High Court came to the conclusion both the courts below had failed to apply the correct principles of law in determining the issue of cruelty. So the High Court has gone ahead in giving a finding cruelty issue के ऊपर both the civil judge junior division as well as the district court have committed a gross violation. I mean, there is an error on their part. Then it says another evidence for itself and came to the conclusion independently that the appellant had failed to establish that he was treated with cruelty. That is the finding recorded by the High Court. A careful consideration of evidence by the High Court ought to be enough assurance that the finding of the fact is correct and it is contrary to the court appeal under Article 136. So the Supreme Court is now here mindful of the fact that under Article 136, it cannot appreciate the fact, but having regard to the fact that though the High Court also did not have power under 100, High Court has discussed evidence with regard to cruelty and giving a direction, making a statement or a sermon that both the courts below have committed an error apparent on the face of the record. So in paragraph number 20 say that instead of remanding the matter back, we will deal with the factual aspect and the legal position in this matter. That is how. Then paragraph number 21 mein aa jaiye aap. We find this approach difficult to accept. I mean, whatever the High Court has done, we find it difficult. Under section 103 of the court, High Court may, if the evidence on the record is sufficient, determine the issue of fact for disposal of the appeal, which has not been determined by the lower appellate court or which has been wrongly determined by such court or by reason of any of the illegality, omission, error or defect in the section 100. But the High Court takes upon itself the duty to determine issue of fact. Its power to appreciate evidence would be subject to the same restraining condition. So according to the Supreme Court, the High Court has not followed the procedure under section 103. When determine the fact in issue, then go ahead. And without doing it, you are given a finding with regard to the judgment, which is not correct. Now, in paragraph number 22, the approach of the High Court is thus erroneous. The Supreme Court did not appreciate and findings are vitiated. So, those of you who will be relying upon the High Court judgment reported in AIR 1970 Bombay, page number 312, should know that the judgment is overruled. AIR 1970 Bombay 312 is overruled. Now the Supreme Court the Supreme Court judgment in 75 Supreme Court 1534 holds the field.
So what happens if you're in the court of law, you're quoting a judgment that has been since overruled,
No.
and if the other party doesn't catch it, then does it
No. As an officer of the court, you should not mislead it. If you know that it's overruled, and you must frankly admit to the court.
Yes, but if you don't know,
if you don't know, it's a mistake apart, but you should know cross-check it from the references. You'll come to know whether a judgment of the High Court is overruled or not, or confirmed by the Supreme Court. You come to know. There are cross-references. आप लाइब्रेरी में आएंगे, लाइब्रेरी में बता देगा आपको हाई कोर्ट में. Even you go on the net, you come to know that now. Nowadays, it is. So here, the High Court said that Supreme Court said, the finding of the High Court is therefore erroneous. The findings are vitiated. We would have normally remanded the matter to the High Court for fresh consideration for evidence. But the proceedings have been pending for 13 years, and we thought that rather than delaying the decision any further, we should undertake ourselves the task which the High Court should have undertaken under 103 CPC, that necessary to make it. So having the High Court not having formulated point, now I will draw your attention to section 103 CPC, because you want to understand this matter. Please open section 103. How this is related to evidence before the appellate court in second appeal. Of course, you have gone through in CPC lecture, we have gone through this. Now, in the evidence also, it is useful to you. Power of the High Court to determine issues of fact. Now, usse pehle aa jaiye aap. Section 100 says that second appeal.
CPC.
Yeah, CPC.
Yeah.
CPC में पढ़े आप.
This is CRPC, I guess.
No, CPC. Because matrimonial matter is a civil case. Okay, section ये appeal section 100 में पढ़े आपने. Appeal to second appeal lies only on substantial question of law to the High Court and not on facts. Now, when the facts are not correctly disturbed, now 103 में आ जाइए आप. Power of the High Court to determine issue of fact. When the trial court and the appellate court has made a mistake in not correctly framing issues under Order 14, the High Court has power to determine the issue. See, in any second appeal, the High Court may, if the evidence and record is sufficient, determine any necessary for disposal of the appeal, which has not been determined by the lower court or both the court of first instance and lower court or appellate court, which has been wrongly determined by such court or court reasons decision on such question of law as is referred to in section 18. So यहाँ पे पूना में civil judge junior division nor the district judge have framed proper issues relating to what was the cruelty. When the husband is alleging that the wife is treating him with cruelty and he sought separation, the learned judges have not framed issues. It was mandatory for the High Court. The High Court was enjoined with a duty under 103 to frame such issue, determine and decide the matter, which was not done. That is what the complaint made by the Supreme Court in paragraph number 22. Now the High Court, Supreme Court says, now see that here, paragraph number 23 में देखिए, what does it say that? Now I'm coming to it. The principle accords with common sense. You got it here? The fifth line from in paragraph 23. The principle accords with the common sense. It is so much easier to prove positive with the negative. The petitioner must therefore prove that the respondent has treated him with cruelty within the meaning of section 10(1)(b) of the Hama Act. But does the law require, as the High Court has held, petitioner must prove the case beyond reasonable doubt? So this was the contention of the Bombay High Court. The cruelty should have been proved beyond reasonable doubt. In other words, though the burden lies on the petitioner to establish the charge of cruelty, which is the standard of proof to be applied in order the judge whether the burden has been discharged. So the High Court makes a mistake here, stating that the cruelty charge should have been proved beyond reasonable doubt, means the husband should establish it as if it's a criminal trial. Now, paragraph number 24 पे आ जाइए. The normal rule which governs civil proceeding is that a fact can be said to be established if it is proved by preponderance of possibilities. Preponderance of possibilities mean by drawing inferences. The inference of a man of ordinary prudence, the expression used in the expression proved, disproved and not proved. Okay? Preponderance of possibilities. This is for the reason that under the Evidence Act, section 3, a fact is said to be proved when the court either believes it to exist or consider its existence so probable that a prudent man ought, under the circumstances of a particular case, to act upon the supposition that it exists. So they are used the analogy used in the definition. Now the belief regarding the existence of a fact may thus be found on the balance of probabilities. See that here, the court, because the court may consider. So the analogy used here is the court, after considering the matters before it, the court may believes that it exists or believes the existence probable or that a prudent man. Probably the court has to consider this. It is not that a definite case, it is a judicial mind which experience comes to know that here. The existence so probable that a prudent man ought, under circumstances of a particular case, to act upon the proposition. The belief regarding the existence of the fact may thus be found of a balance probabilities. The prudent man, faced with conflicting probabilities, Now this is very important. A prudent man faced with conflicting probabilities concerning a fact situation will act on the supposition that the fact exists. If on weighing the various probabilities, he finds that the preponderance is in favor of the existence of the particular fact. As a prudent man, so the court applies the test of finding whether the fact in issue can be said to be proved. The first step in this process is to fix the probabilities. Then the second is to weigh them. Though the two may often intermingling, the impossible is to weed out the first stage, the improbable at the second, within the wide range of probabilities. In the court, that has often a difficult choice to make, but it is a choice which ultimately determines where the preponderance of possibilities lies. See, it is the preponderance of all lies. Important issues like those which affect the status of the parties demand closer scrutiny than the like one, loan, promissory note, the nature of a gravity of the issue, manner, so and so. So examples are given where the probabilities depend upon the matter of the case. Now come to paragraph number 25, where the ratio is laid down. Proof beyond reasonable doubt is proof by higher standard, which generally govern criminal trial. Now we learned in several cases, in Pune murder case, of Sharath case, and today's case, and the earlier cases, and now also I will be giving you one case of Pakala Narayan Swami versus Emperor case, which is one of the leading judgment on the circumstantial evidence. I will discuss at a later stage.
So, so preponderance can only be used during civil cases, right?
Yes,
so it can
civil.
never be used in criminal
Yes,
matters.
not in criminal cases, but it can be used only in civil case. That is what para 21 said. That proof of beyond reasonable doubt is a proof of a higher standard, which generally govern criminal trials or trials involving inquiry issues of a quasi-criminal nature. The criminal trial involves the liberty of the subject, which may be taken away on a mere preponderance, which may be taken away on a mere preponderance of possibilities. If the possibilities are so nicely balanced that a reasonable, not a vacillating mind cannot find where the preponderance lies, a doubt arises regarding the existence of the fact to be proved, and the benefit of such reasonable doubt goes to the accused. It is wrong to import such consideration in trials of a purely civil nature. So 25 ke andar, the Supreme Court says that don't use the analogy of strict proof, namely prove the case beyond reasonable doubt, where the prosecution has to prove the case because the liberty of the accused is involved. Life and liberty under Article 21. He is under jail. And why do you man under jail has to prove the case? It is the public prosecutor. He brought the charge. He must prove it. You learned it under a session trial, in a warrant cases, all these cases. So whenever there is a doubt, if the prosecution is not able to prove. So in the Sharath's case, there was a doubt on account of the letters of the girl. I will take extreme case. So the chains were not, though the relations were strained between them. So there's a doubt as to whether there's a direct evidence. When there is no direct evidence with a doubt, the accused should be given the benefit of doubt and you should not put it here. That is the case here. Whereas in civil cases, now see, the Supreme Court says it is wrong to import such consideration in trial of a purely civil nature. So matrimonial cases are civil nature. Please note that they are civil nature. Now 26 पढ़ेंगे समझ में आ जाएगा आपको. Neither section 10 of the Act, 10 mean of the Hama Act, Hindu Marriage Act, which enumerates the ground on which petition for judicial separation may be presented, nor section 23, which governs the jurisdiction of the court to pass a decree in any proceedings under the Act, require that petitioner must prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. So it is not necessary in civil cases, including matrimonial cases, which are part and parcel of civil cases, that you must adopt the strict theory of proving a case beyond reasonable doubt. That is what it says. Section, yeah. Then it says that, yeah. Section 23 confers on the court power to pass a decree if it is satisfied on matters mentioned in clause A to E of the section, considering that proceeding under the act are essentially of a civil nature. The word satisfied must mean satisfied on a preponderance of possibilities and not satisfied beyond reasonable doubt. Section 23 does not alter standard of proof in civil cases. So when you file a case on the ground that wife is treating me with cruelty, when the wife has condoned the cruelty, when the husband has condoned the cruelty, then the charge becomes useless. A, the husband files a case against the wife, or B, the wife files a petition for cruelty against wife. If any of them condones, for example, relations were strained that time, they again begin cohabiting. They live as husband and wife. They restore their conjugal relationship. Then cruelty is gone.
So that future act will be taken as a condonement of
Yes,
cruelty.
it's a condonement. That is what the court says in this matter. I am coming to it. Now come to section paragraph number 27 is important. The misconception regarding the standard of proof in matrimonial cases, perhaps from a loose description of the respondent's conduct in such cases constituting matrimonial offense, act of spouse which are calculated to impair the integrity of a matrimonial union have a social significance to marry or not to marry, and if a wisdom may well be private affair, but the freedom to break a matrimonial is not. The society has a stake in the institution of marriage, and therefore erring spouse is treated not as a mere defaulter but as an offender. But this social philosophy, though it may have a bearing on the need to have the clearest proof of an allegation before it is accepted as a ground for dissolution of marriage, has no bearing on the standard of proof in matrimonial cases. So the proof is in the matrimonial cases is not strict as that of in criminal cases. It is condensed. The parties are not required to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt to the hill. Now the Supreme Court is discussing the law in England in paragraph number 28, where it like civil cases may be proved by preponderance of possibilities, where Lord Dennings, the House of Lord Judgment, in paragraph number 28, you see that here. Then they also discuss the judgment of the Australian court in Wright versus Wright, where they said that civil and not criminal cases, standard of persuasion applies to matrimonial cases. So they have taken recourse to the provision. Then also, then 29 ke andar, what the High Court has done in the case of decision in Munshi Puram's case, then in a Mohammedan law, similar question of cruelty came. How it was interpreted by the High Court is given in paragraph number 29. I mean, it should be construed in a liberal manner where a man of ordinary prudence normally would believe it here. So there's a discussion and 29 and 30, which I will not take you through. Then paragraph number 35 pe aa jaiye. In the present matter, how the spouse parted company from the year 1961, the Supreme Court goes, misunderstanding created, naturally have created more and more misunderstanding. Then 36 ke andar, the married life is well documented. So many letters were brought on record. Both of them had a flair for writing. See, 37 Supreme Court say that the bulk of the correspondence by the wife, who seems to have a flair for writing, writes in a style and true the style of a man, a letter. So the judge is saying, the learned judges of the Supreme Court saying, the both of them have produced voluminous record and the women, the wife has a flair for writing various and records. Everything, every day and night. Morning breakfast पे बैठे letter लेके, all putting the bitterness. Your father did this to me, your mother this to me, placing on record all things which happen in a matrimonial house. So that is
So
all.
is it a fair comment to make that you are a lady but you are writing like a man?
No,
Is it-
yeah, it is. The man in the legal sense, lady and man mean same. That I do not know. It is for you to judge. But they are written in a maybe.
you have to guide us, sir. How
Yeah,
can
no,
we
no,
judge?
of course, it is not written. It is written in a good faith. It is not with malice. It is written that way. No, it is not to attribute any motives. Then paragraph number 40 में देखिए, a respondent used to describe the appellant as a mother, as a boorish woman. So I mean the relations were very. I mean she had a animosity against the husband and a family for some reason. As a result, husband ने भी देखो पैरा नंबर 40 में है. She is a hard-headed, arrogant, and a merciless, thoughtless, unbalanced girl, devoid of sense of duty. So even the husband, both of them are indulging in a campaign of vilification against each other, which was rather unfortunate in this matter. So these allegations are all mentioned here from paragraph number देखेंगे आप 35 से लेकर, I won't be reading all the allegation. When you go home, read आराम से देख लीजिए, read the full judgment, you understand. Paragraph number 43 में they are calling each other a monster in a body, and allegations are made, very unfortunate. Then discussion and paragraph number 47 में the discussion on admission with regard to interpretation of section 23(1)(a) of the act, right and wrong, then bigoted ego. These all, whether the cruelty aspect, whether it is condoned or not. Then they are discussing the case law, English law, in paragraph number 50. If the door is of a cruelty were opened too wide, we should soon find ourselves granting divorce for incompatibility of treatment. I mean, they say that here cruelty should not be accepted immediately, and because in a matrimonial matters, if you go to the family court, even under the CPC, you learn there's a provision, there's a conciliation. In a fit of anger, both husband and wife exchange very harsh words in the matter. So, paragraph number 50, 51, the conduct of the respondent amount to cruelty within the meaning of section 10(1) of the Act under the provisions of relevant provision. So, the court says that it amounts to cruelty, but ultimately they write here cruelty stands condoned. Then the next question in paragraph number 21, in the newspaper by publish करेंगी. The wife says, I will publish your name in the newspaper. I will get you dismissed. I am the daughter of a undersecretary. You will lose your job. So all, both of them are involved in a ego trip in a matrimonial litigation, unfortunately. Then 52 के अंदर, the question for consideration whether the appellant at any time condone the respondent's cruelty. So here the condonation of the cruelty comes into play, and how cruelty is condoned. Paragraph number 53, 54 पढ़ेंगे आप 55 में various circumstances. 54 say that it's a implied condonation is implied in the act of cohabitation and provided by the fact so and so. If you cohabit together, stay together, if you resume your sexual relationship, then the cruelty is condoned. 55 के अंदर the cruelty, see, condonation mean forgiveness in the matrimonial offenses, which is permissible. Whereas in this IPC, see, in the Indian Penal Code, when an offense is committed, all offenses are not compoundable. आपने पढ़ चुके हैं, isn't it? Section 320 के अंदर certain offenses are compoundable, some are non-compoundable, and all offenses cannot be compoundable. The state and prosecution, you need to take the permission of the court for a murder crime is not compoundable. Court cannot give permission. It is a duty of the state to prosecute. Then, whereas in matrimonial cases, they are compoundable. They are mentioned the expression condonation. 56 में देखो, evidence of condonation consists here the fact that spouse led a normal sexual life, despite the respondent's acts of cruelty. So if the restoration of sexual act take place in the family, intimacy between the husband and wife, then the cruelty disappears. So that discussion is there. Then 57 के अंदर Supreme Court say that the condonation of cruelty not such like a pardon under Article 72, where the governor or the president of India commutes the sentence. You know, like the Mr. Namavati was given a clean sheet by the governor after the Supreme Court convicted him. You know that, na? Pardon was granted to him. That kind of a pardon, it is not so. It automatically get condoned. Then 59 के अंदर they are given how the cruelty respondent subsequently conduct is forfeited. How you forfeit the cruelty by your own act of there's a waiver comes into play. The doctrine of waiver. You give up your legal rights. You give up your cause of action that you learn in the CPC during lectures. So 60 के अंदर, so when a decree for judicial separation was passed by the trial court, is the examples are given here in the matter. Then 71 onwards, the Supreme Court examines on how the High Court has committed error in appreciation of the evidence. Then 72 के अंदर देखिए, serious, it's true that the more serious the original offense, less grave need to be consequences. They relied upon Cooper versus Cooper, some of the earlier old judgment. Then ultimately, after examining all this aspect, having laid down the ratio, the Supreme Court says in paragraph number 73, we are therefore hold that the respondent was guilty of cruelty. I mean, the correspondence letters show that दोनों के strained relationship, the wife was very harsh toward the husband, but the appellant condoned it, and the subsequent conduct of the respondent is not such as amount to revival of the original cause of action. Accordingly, we dismiss the appeal. So he began cohabiting with her. They began living together. So it's like a bubble. Pani ka bolta na, bubble. Whatever allegations stood are gone. So in sum and substance, the ratio of the judgment is that here. The ratio you will find in paragraph number 24, when the Supreme Court says that here, judicial, the standard of proof in civil proceeding is that of a preponderance of possibilities and not a strict one as that of in criminal cases, namely proving the case beyond reasonable doubt. But A section mein, or even for example under the Indian Penal Code, if a man has treated the wife with cruelty, 498A is a charge to be proved with seriously in the criminal prosecution. Similarly, a matrimonial offences के अंदर husband has committed adultery prior to the the Supreme Court decriminalizing this act, it has to be proved beyond reasonable doubt. But whereas when you seek a divorce, when you seek a divorce under the Indian Divorce Act, HAMA Act, that the husband is living in adultery, that adultery need not be proved like in a criminal trial. The moment you examine, join the co-accused, the adulterer or the party, some love letters exchanged between them, the court may draw inferences. Yes, adultery is proved. The husband is mostly spending time with his girlfriend, with somebody, the lady who is a co-accused, co-respondent. So on the basis of presumption, so that is why in civil cases, it is the inferences which are easily drawn by the court and not the strict standard which is to be done.
So which is a better route to take? Is it better to go through preponderance of possibilities, or should one go for mutual consent?
If you go for preponderance of possibility, you're leading evidence in trial. Okay, you're leading evidence in trial before the court. And if you're giving mutual consent, the matter is settled out of court. If the matter is settled out of court, the case is not proved. Okay. Then the second judgment which I would like to do, where the Supreme Court has used these preponderance of possibilities, another couple of judgment I'll give you. One more judgment I had given you, that is AIR, that is 66 Supreme Court, page number
Your video is
173.
gone, sir.
Huh?
Your video is gone.
Video is gone. I will just take it.
Yeah, it's back.
It is on back. Now the second judgment which I like to give you, discuss is AIR 1966 Supreme Court, page number 1734, गुलाब चंद वर्सेस कुदीलाल. पढ़े आपने? Are you able to hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. We are able to hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, 1966 Supreme Court, page number 1734, Gulab Chand versus Kudilal. This is a very interesting matter. Here, the Supreme Court says, what is the standard of proof in civil cases involving allegations of bribery? Involving allegations of charges of criminal or fraudulent character. So, in many cases, we say that under section 17, 18, 19 of the Indian Penal Code, आपने पढ़े हैं fraud. What is fraud? Isn't it? आप पढ़ चुके हैं. You may also take up the plea that the signature has been forged. Forgery has been committed. I have not given my consent freely. My consent has been taken fraudulently. I mean, fraud, a deception has been committed. When deception and fraud is committed, and when you discover the fraud, you will learn under the Evidence Act, under the Limitation Act, under Section 1717, a fraud vitiates transaction. A suit on fraud can be filed from the date of discovery. Now, in this case, Gulab Chand's case, the suit was involving a criminal civil suit, allegation charges of a criminal or fraudulent character. Here, insistence of proving charge clearly beyond reasonable doubt was not correct. The Supreme Court said that. Now, when you open this judgment, I will give you how it came here. Here also, the Supreme Court laid down the criteria that the evidence should be accepted in civil cases on the basis of a preponderance of possibilities and not in criminal cases. Now, just I'll give you a little, it's a very interesting matter where bribe was given to the one of the the arbitrator, the person who was trying the arbitration proceeding. He was induced. When the amount is sought to be claimed, can such amount claim be claimed? Of course, which is hit by Section 23 of the Indian Contract Act. Justice Sikri has written this judgment. Now, this judgment, this is a special leave petition which came to the Supreme Court from the judgment of the full bench of the Madhya Pradesh High Court. Now, here one Govindram Saxeria, he was a big businessman. You all must be know Saxeria Chambers in Bombay. And Mr. Brijlal Ramji Das, they were the partners of a partnership firm. उन दोनों में dispute शुरू हो गया. There's two businessmen. Their partnership disputes and suits were pending, and ultimately the matter reached before Sri Dinanath, the Prime Minister of the former Holkar state. That this gentleman gave an award in this particular matter, to the extent that here the arbitrator gave you an award inter alia declaring that Govindram Saxeria should buy the 5.5 shares of Brijlal. I mean, there was a dispute between two partners. He said there is no point in continuing partnership. तुम दोनों में acrimony है, dispute है. One person resign from the partnership, take money and go away, excrease money. So he declared that this Dinanath was the former Prime Minister of the Holkar state in Madhya Pradesh. You know that India had more than 600 states in those zamane mein. There were Rajas, Maharajas, and Nawabs, and many of them were occupying it here. Now, when this award was given, the validity of the award was challenged in the Bombay High Court. That was Bombay High Court was the competent court for Madhya Pradesh, where civil suit was filed for challenging the award in the year. Then what happened? Then during the pendency of the suit here, it appears that here the negotiation took place between the parties, and in the arbitration proceedings, you can see that here the Mr. Govind Ram induced him to accept certain amount and partnership here. That is there in paragraph number 5 के अंदर है. Then the court held that in paragraph number 6, what was offered by Sri Govind was a bribe under the or in order to induce him to report the matter in his favor. So that was the bribe given to the arbitrator to pass a favorable order, and which was supported by the former Prime Minister of the Holkar state. So paragraph number 6 is a commenting on. Then when the appeal was filed before the Bombay High Court, before the single judge and division bench upon rejection, then the matter went to Supreme Court under Article 136. Whether the allegations of bribery in a civil charge should be the same standard of proof. See paragraph number 7, check करें आप मिल जाएगा. Mr. C.B. Agrawal, while admitting the concurrent finding of fact cannot ordinarily be assailed before the court. So there was a concurrent finding of fact against the person. Fact, the same was based on surmises. It has misdirected itself in not adopting a strict standard of proof in this matter. Both the trial court and the High Court taken a liberal view of the civil cases, the allegations of the bribery, and which Mr. Agrawal, the counsel for the other side, before the Supreme Court says that here, it should have been strictly construed. The Supreme Court says, he urged that where the bribery is alleged in civil cases, the same standard of proof should be required as in criminal matter. He further urged that the High Court should have held that the Hiralal's evidence was not admissible, and the argument urged by him that there was no proof at all, the plaintiff was a party to the intention of the Govind Ram brother bribe. He said that there is a presumption that the plaintiff acted honestly and material has been placed to displace the presumption. So the Supreme Court says we see no force. So you cannot expect the court to draw a presumption which is adverse to the accused when it is not a criminal liability. The court said that it is true that there is a distinction between probability and a mere surprise. But this is a case we are satisfied that the full bench did rely upon any surmises. So the finding is recorded in paragraph number 8, and ultimately in the middle of the paragraph, they have also discussed how the Evidence Act is construed in civil and criminal cases. When you see that Evidence Act is at the same time expressed in terms which allows the full to be given circumstances, condition and probability, improbability. So that whereas in the instant case, forgery comes in question in civil cases, the presumption against misconduct is not without doubt way in circumstances of improbability, though the standard of proof to the exclusion of all doubt required in criminal cases may not be applicable. So there's a clear-cut finding in this judgment that you cannot import the doctrine of strict liability, the presumption which is sought to be proved in criminal cases for proving a civil case which is done on the basis of preponderance of reasonable inferences charge. So the Supreme Court ultimately rejected the contention Then paragraph number 13 mein, the Supreme Court says, now it is well settled that where fraud is to be inferred from the circumstances and not directly proved, these circumstances must be such as to exclude any reasonable possibility. In other words, criteria is similar to the whole applicable to circumstances, evidence in criminal cases. We are unable to agree with the observation. So this is what the other side argument, Supreme Court. As we have said before, the fact that the party is alleged to have accepted bribe in a civil case does not convert it into a criminal case. And ordinary rules applicable to civil cases apply. The learned counsel has not been able to cite any authorities. So the Supreme Court clearly gives a finding on record that when a fraud, any criminal element is quoted in a civil cases, you are not required to lead evidence as is led in the CRPC or Indian Penal Code for proving a case beyond reasonable doubt. But if you take up the plea that you are claiming damages from the defendant on the ground that you were induced to sign the agreement which was not intended to be. For example, you may take up the plea that here, what I had executed with the defendant was a mortgage. You take up the plea, plaintiff, it's a mortgage. I am filing a suit for redemption of the mortgage. Or defendant will take up the plea, my lord, it was not a mortgage deed. It is in fact a sale deed. I have purchased the suit property. Plaintiff kya bolega? He has played a fraud upon me, any of the party. While the execution of the document, the correct nomenclature is not stated, the defendant induced me to sign the agreement, giving me a false representation that it is a mortgage and not a sale document. So when you use this word fraud and deceit, which are elements used under section 415, 419, 420 of the Indian Penal Code, where the punishment is for 7 years, then you also normally take up the plea that here the defendant or plaintiff, the defendant or plaintiff were acting in fiduciary capacity. Yeah? There are many cases when a suit is filed under the Indian Trust Act, you take up the plea. When a suit is filed under the Specific Relief Act, you may take up the plea that the builder is acting in a fiduciary capacity. He is my trustee. He is in possession of my flat. He must hand it over. Similarly, a fraud has been played upon him by now handing over to me, to somebody else. So the evidence which is required to be proved for proving the fraud in the present case in a suit for specific performance or for challenging a document, for taking up the plea of bribery, that the court will consider whether it is probable or a prudent man ought in the circumstances consider. So court will draw inferences. The presumption, 55% the plaintiff has been able to prove the case, preponderance के अंदर आ जाएगा. Preponderance of possibility में you need not prove your case with clinching evidence, in short. Whereas in a criminal prosecution, the public prosecutor has to prove the case beyond reasonable doubt. Save and accept the accused, nobody else has committed the crime. Then only conviction is awarded. But whereas in a civil cases, when you prove that the document has been fraudulently executed, it is not my signature, it's a bogus signature. I was not in India when the execution took place. You may take up the alibi. I was in UK, I was in America, I was traveling. So I am claiming damages from him. I am praying that the document be set aside and heavy costs be paid to me for causing mental torture, agony, and forging my signature. An act of forgery, the court will frame the issue. Does the defendant prove that the forgery has taken place? How will you prove forgery? Not in like the way you find in criminal cases. You may take up the plea. I would like to prove forgery number 1. For example, this is not the admitted signature. Your Lordship may kindly consider my signature in the Wakalatnama. Take my signature in my passport. See you may compare my signature in the court under section 73. The court may draw presumption. The court may draw inferences as a man of ordinary prudence. Is it correct or not? So if the court sees any variation or no variation, the court may opine, yes, the signature which is in the agreement of sale, which is alleged to be bogus, is not correct. It is different. And whereas the signature on the Wakalatnama, there is a variation. So the court will not call for a strict proof that it's not proved beyond reasonable doubt. 55% भी आपका case is proved by the plaintiff or defendant based upon probabilities, drawing inferences. In civil cases, the evidence is accepted in a liberal manner. Okay, so this is the meaning of here. So the Supreme Court did not accept. In another case, two cases which are before you, I have given you, just give you a cursory glance. That is Chhatrabhush Pandey versus Collector of Raigad, yeah, 1969 Supreme Court. Page number 255, देखिए आपने? This was a land acquisition case, which also arose from Madhya Pradesh, which ultimately landed in Supreme Court, where under the land acquisition matter, under the Land Acquisition Act, the collector of Raigad in this matter acquired the property. When acquisition take place, that land acquisition officer, he fixes the amount to be paid to the landowner. The award is passed by him. Paragraph number 2 mein aa jaiye. When the amount is less or more, then the appeal lies to district court under section 18 of the Land Acquisition Act. That is the procedure. When you are not happy with the order of the district judge, you go file a first appeal before the High Court, whether a substantial question of law involved. So, when such matter, when the landowner took up the plea that year, when my land was taken possession of, acquired, they had not taken into consideration the fruit trees. The fruit trees are attached to the land. They are part and parcel of land. So the land acquisition order is not correct and his evidence is not even proper. The Supreme Court in paragraph number 6, you see that here. What does he say that? It's a beautiful judgment of Justice K.S. Hegde, the famous judge who was a party to the Keshwananda Bharati's judgment, who resigned from after the judgment when a junior judge was promoted as the Chief Justice, Justice Ray. You know that along with Justice Hegde, Justice Bachawat and the other two judges were all resigned. That is a history that you made that. Now, for the present matter, you see kindly paragraph number 6. What does Justice Hegde says about the inferences the court should draw in civil cases? It says, but that is of no assistance to the appellant. Chhatrabhush, as mentioned earlier, the High Court has refused to rely upon the oral testimony adduced in support of the appellant's claim as regard the value of the orchard. Value ke baare mein. It is true that the witnesses examined on behalf of the appellant had not been effectively cross-examined. So when witnesses are not cross-examined, the evidentiary value of the evidence is 0. Please note that. Under section 33 of the Evidence Act, that evidence is not very strong evidence. Then you come. It is also true that the collector had not adduced any evidence in rebuttal. So, appellant में evidence नहीं बराबर डाला हुआ है. Nor the collector has read evidence in rebuttal mean evidence in reply. Suppose the plaintiff has given one evidence against defendant, the defendant must disprove the case of the plaintiff by leading evidence in rebuttal, in reply. Suppose a plaintiff examines a valuer, an architect, to prove that the value of the land and property, age of the building is so much. The rateable value of the property is so much. आप बोलेगा 1 लाख रुपया. It is not easy to cross-examine a special witness like the valuer unless you have studied the act very well and taken the help from another architect. So the best thing is cross examination karo aap. In the cross examination, you take up his denial, and at the same time, you put up your own case that the valuation arrived by you is not correct. You are not taken into consideration in the vicinity. There are market area, the 5-star hotel, there's the beaches, amenities available. Yes, so you examine another architect of your choice to lead evidence in rebuttal to prove that the evidence of the earlier plaintiff advocate is not correct. Now, for determining your mean profits under Order 20, Rule 12C of the Code of Civil Procedure, you know that when a decree is passed by the trial court, either High Court, City Civil, Small Causes Court, any court, in a decree, normally the court says that here plaintiff succeeds on the ground of subletting, or maybe a eviction decree is passed, and according to you, I hold defendant is a trespasser and he is liable to pay mean profit. I order an inquiry under Order 20, Rule 12C of the CPC. So, Order 20, Rule 12C में ये architect का evidence आएगा. You have to examine your architect. Okay, what is the value of the property, land? Now, in the case of Supermax judgment of the Supreme Court, when you see 2005 Supreme Court, State of Maharashtra versus Supermax, Justice Wazifdar of the Bombay High Court, and which judgment was confirmed by Supreme Court, took up the value that the ready reckoner of the state government of Maharashtra is a good document to determine the land value. And beside the report of the architect. Architects may lie, they like to support their client, but the government ready reckoner value is a good evidence. Produce it. So, वहाँ पे rebuttal लीजिए. So, in that connection,
what happens if you miss this and the matter goes in appeal to High Court? How then do you go to give this evidence?
then you make allegation to the High Court. It has skipped my attention. My advocate was incompetent. I have engaged a new advocate. I may be allowed to lead evidence in this regard and to do justice. Take your chance. Under Order 41, Rule 27, the court has power. It's a matter of luck. Okay. Now you come to order.
It's only a matter of luck, sir.
It's a matter of luck, and sometimes you may win, sometimes no. Because the power of the, your matter is gone to the High Court. Appellate Court has power under Order 41/27. This High Court is a third court now. A third court, a court of revision, has a limited power under 115. You know that. Revision court in CPC is a court of limited jurisdiction. It will not interfere unless there is a gross mistake of law is committed.
Yes, sir. So can't we request the High Court to send the matter back to the...
Yes, it can be done on the ground that the evidence is perverse. But if you take up the plea, my advocate is not vigilant, the High Court may say, why did you take an advocate who was sleeping? Who was in deep sleep like Rip Van Winkle for 20 years?
Yes, sir.
You must take an advocate who is active, who knows the law, who can jump.
Yes, sir.
It's very unfortunate. Sometimes the cases are like that. So what does see the finding of Justice Hegde in this, paragraph number 6, in the middle C. It is therefore, the witnesses, collector has not adduced evidence in rebuttal. But that does not mean the court is bound to accept their evidence. The judges are not computers. See that? Judges are not computers. In assessing the value of the assessed to be attached, the oral evidence, they are bound to call into aid their experience of life. Judges ko bolte hain. As judge of the fact, it was open to the appellate court to test the evidence placed before them on the basis of probabilities. Underline this word. So, probabilities mean a preponderance of evidence. The court should have drawn inferences. In fact, even in your case, the appellate court should have, what should have done? Drawn inferences. The market value of the price is this much, and you can rely upon the judgment for your matter. Taking up the plea that year, the appellate court should have at least taken the aid of the government of Maharashtra's ready reckoner, which the Supreme Court has approved in the case of Supermax versus State of Maharashtra. When you open your, please open State of Maharashtra versus Supermax Kolia judgment. उसके अंदर लिखा गया है. You please open, I'll find out right now. You go home and take it up. The Supreme Court has passed a finding in that. उसमें clearly कहता है कि if the architect evidence is not proper, at least you take into consideration the ready reckoner value of the government, which is admissible. मिला आपको Supermax versus State of Maharashtra or State of Maharashtra?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's open.
आप ये carefully जाइए. You go through the last paragraph. उसके अंदर अफर्म किया. बॉम्बे का जजमेंट है जस्टिस वजीरदार का भी इसके अंदर. So last paragraph खोलिए आप इसका ये जजमेंट का. Second last paragraph. Open the second. This is a Supreme Court judgment, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
What does it say that? See, they have approved the High Court finding on the government of Maharashtra's examination fixing the rate. बराबर ही.
So before concluding the decision, one more question needs to be addressed. What
Yeah.
would be the position if the tenant's appeal revision is allowed and the eviction decree is set aside? In that event, naturally, the status quo ante would be restored and the tenant would be entitled to get back all the amounts that he was made to pay in excess of the contractual rent.
Yeah, उसमें एक finding है record किया देखो. The High Court का finding that the ready reckoner value is to be accepted is correct करके उसमें एक paragraph है उसके अंदर. I am aware of this judgment because
Okay,
I
sir.
quoted this in many matters. This one and also judgment of Justice Wazidar of the Bombay High Court. You can see that one
So
paragraph.
the High Court has fixed the amount of 5,40,000 per
Yeah.
month with reference to the stamp duty ready reckoner and hence its business
Yes.
cannot be doubted.
Yes, you cannot be doubted. So the Bombay High Court has relied upon a ready reckoner value. So the ready reckoner court is relying upon inferences. The Bombay High Court was vigilant, probabilities kiya hai. Yeah? So Justice Hegde ka dream is fulfilled by the Bombay High Court in this matter. Huh?
Yes, sir.
Huh? So on
Thank
the
you,
basis
sir.
of, so the court is not computer to rely upon this. So when you see the Bombay High Court judgment in this, it is a Supermax versus State of Maharashtra. तो आप चेक कर लीजिए उसके अंदर rely upon क्या है. Similarly, okay, I won't be wasting your time in this. So these are the yardsticks in this matter. Then any more judgment I had given to you. That judgment of Subhash cover कर लिए हमने. Then Justice Chandrachud judgment cover कर लिए हमने. Chaturbush भी collect cover कर लिए. What is the time now, by the way? Then we also covered HP versus state of Om Prakash case भी cover कर लिए.
Yes.
Huh?
838, sir.
Then last देखो अभी. Similarly, the court, see, when a written statement is filed, but when plaint is filed by you, defendant doesn't file written statement. So that it means the court has to pass a decree, isn't it? Under Order 8, Rule 10, the court will not blindly pass the decree. Under no, just open Order 8, Rule 10. Order 8, Rule 10 के अंदर क्या लिखा गया? This is also case of a probability. It is a discretion given to the judge. The judge may pass a decree either allowing the case of the plaintiff or the court may dismiss it. See that यहाँ पे use किया? The court shall pronounce judgment against the defendant for not filing written statement or make such order in relation to the suit as it think fit. So in relation to mean, even if the defendant has not laid evidence or written statement, he cannot be punished. If the plaintiff case is weak, the court must reject it. Just because the plaintiff has come to the court and defendant has not chosen to defend, the judge has to use his own probabilities, his own legal acumen, his own experience. Whether the case filed, does the court has jurisdiction? Does the plaintiff has a cause of action? Do the documents which are produced by the plaintiff are sufficient? The witnesses examined by him are reliable? Merely because the defendant did not participate, did not file written statement, did not exhibit any document or file evidence, I am not going to accept it. So discretion is given to the trial judge, very wide. So that is why the Supreme Court said that here, Justice Hegde, in this leading judgment, the judges must test the evidence before them on the basis of probabilities. So preponderance of possibilities is the name of the game in civil cases, as the Supreme Court laid down in the famous case of this couple, this the two judges, I gave it to you. Justice Chandrachud judgment in Narayan Govind Dastan versus Dastane. Dastane is a surname of the Maharashtrian couple, I think, isn't it? If I'm not mistaken, they are from Pune. Very enlightened couple, unfortunately.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Yeah,
So, but
anybody? So we can
even
find.
even Karishma Kapoor's case went on for many years, sir.
I
So
don't.
why do they?
I not followed Karishma Kapoor's case. I cannot comment on it. It is not
Sir,
fair to comment on some case which I not comment. It is not reported. I only go through cases which are reported in law journals, not in
yes.
newspaper. Not
So,
newspaper.
yes, sir, but my question is, sir, why do matrimonial dispute cases drag on for years? Like this one was 13 years, this is the Stane case.
Hmm.
So why do
So
they drag?
in the earlier days, we have so much population, so much population. You can't blame judges. We have less judges. Government is not appointing. The Supreme Court में कितने vacancy हैं. आज High Court में various High Court. Bombay High Court is functioning with only 40%. It is all, interconnected. You cannot say that the judiciary and executive are separated in India. No. The executive is very much part of it and they are responsible. They can drag. Whatever names the Supreme Court and High Court are suggesting, the central government is sitting tight over it. So there is no coordination between judiciary and executive. Only when there is a coordination, then we will improve. There has to be harmony.
Yes, sir.
There is harmony. We have to establish harmony. And how do we do it? And we have to find it out. It's an unfortunate situation. And there are every court, judges are doing their job. Judges you cannot blame. The population इतना का ज़्यादा बढ़ रहा है. अब इतने cases बढ़ रहे हैं. Matrimonial हो, criminal cases हो, civil cases are every day filing thousands, lakhs of cases are being filed. Judges are not computers, as the Supreme Court says that. They are human beings. So you have to appoint judges, you have to appoint courts. And many intelligent lawyers are not willing to take judgeship because if I am offered judgeship, I will not take it because I am enjoying my advocacy. I never, because I play tennis, I go to my farmhouse and play with my children. We are working happy.
Even if they ask you to become Chief Justice of India, you will refuse?
Yeah, because I will not consider, because it's not my cup of tea. I am not cut out for it. I am more happy. I am more happy teaching with you all and interacting with students than
Thank you, sir.
Judgeship is a very difficult job. It is not an easy job, It's a very difficult job. It's a, jailship according to, I would say judgeship is like jailship. Judges are...
The lecture is being recorded, sir.
Because poor judges are not able to interact with people. They cannot socialize with anybody. So they are sacrificing so much, It's a very, very onerous job.
Sir,
And you need to compliment them the kind of the job they're doing. Yes, bataiye.
So
Yes,
also, don't judges get less pay than lawyers?
See,
So-
judges are paid less because judges is not a salary. Only people
Yeah,
coming.
it's not
See,
one.
why? People coming from a very good family background, rich, wealthy background, and you are not having too many desires. A judge should not be having too many. A judge should not say that I would like to buy 10, 15 cars. I would like to buy one Mercedes. A judge should be simple. A judge should live a life of a hermit. Yeah?
So if he has 15, 20 cars, then he's not a non-corrupt judge.
Yeah, as a judge, you are not supposed to be corrupt. Actually, when you are to look at how the High Court, Supreme Court judges are appointed, are lawyers who do not need money in future, who have made substantial. For example, Justice Nariman had a very lucrative practice. He was earning a substantial amount. And he chose to become a judge because he doesn't need money anymore. I am giving one example. He was one of the finest lawyers the country had, he is a beautiful judge, rendering beautiful judgment. Similarly, Justice Chandrachud had a thumping practice in the Bombay High Court. Very lucrative practice, almost every day. And he chose to become a judge. He doesn't need money because he made a lot of money and he is happy with what he has got. So these are the shining example of two judges I am giving you, of Justice Nariman and Chandrachud, and they don't need money. They are, as good lawyers, they have made big money. And there are many good lawyers, they do not want to become judges because they want to enjoy carefree life. And they have still wants. If you are very ambitious and want to earn more and more money, don't take up judgeship. You should be contented. You should be contented with a house, decent house, and in a decent car, and maybe a small bungalow and family. And usse zyada ambition mat rakhiye. ज्यादा ambition रखे तो Huh?
So surely a very challenging and responsible position though,
very,
like
very challenging.
a lot
Judges,
of dilemma that a judge has to go through actually.
very
And
tremendous,
there's a
tremendous.
conflict between law and conscience that at times they need to look
Yes, yes. Hats off to the judges, how they were performing.
So why don't the judges get increase their salary? Why don't they increase it considering
Yes,
the
according to me, it should be increased. The Supreme Court
it
judge
should be
it should be given at least 10 lakh rupees salaries, and a High Court judge should be given minimum 5 to 6 lakh rupees salary.
because of the work also that they're assessing.
They also right to have enjoy their life, and everything is gone. If you want to buy one computer today, 1.5-2 lakh रुपए से अच्छा कम नहीं आता है. One mobile phone is costing 1 lakh rupee. One you go for a decent, even if you go for a decent Mercedes car, it's costing you 60 to 70 lakh rupees. Why they not have it? The government should provide them. But unfortunately, ours is supposed to be a poor country. Huh? Isn't it? We have deficit. We have many problems. Parliamentarians are making laws and increasing the salary. They are not increasing judges' salary. The magistrate should be given good salary, according to me. They are living in a very bad condition. The magistrate, judges of the lower judiciary should also be given high salary. Otherwise, you can stop corruption by giving them high salaries. Otherwise, if you give them less salary, people underprivileged like to become judges and become dishonest. There are many tempting offers come. So they tend to become dishonest. So if you want to stop their dishonesty, give them a lucrative salary. Give them at least, a magistrate or a civil judge, junior division should get a decent, handsome salary of at least 2.5 lakh rupees per month, according to me. You cannot lead a decent life with 2-3 lakh rupees. And you should be given a car on your own. You should be given all amenities, medical facilities, mediclaim facilities, family pension. ये सब देना चाहिए मेरे ख्याल से, because other foreign countries are giving back, they can afford. But our country, we are still limping back to normalcy, and our economic condition is such may not be doing. But pray that we also prosper, we can also afford to give it. Okay? When by the time you all become judges, it may happen. Okay? So we will stop today. Okay? And for 2-3 days, I am not available because the next lecture I should be taking